in their race orthodoxy over the last 40 years. In that when a black person practices racism, it can't be considered racism because they were oppressed at one point. And of course, none of that stands up to logic. None of that stands up to law, which is why I say that all of this really underscores what and I don't have any problem using the word evil, what an evil administration we have here, and the kinds of things that they're doing and the lengths that they're willing to go to subvert the Constitution and the American paradigm in general.
Well, as you say in your book, the National Geographic describes the new Black Panther Party as a militant hate group headquartered Washington, D.C., seeks to redefine the black struggle for equality, demand liberation from what it sees as white supremacy. So I guess dragging the flag on the street and jumping up and down on it and making allegiance to Osama bin Laden, that's all tied up with white supremacy or something? I guess their point there.
In my view, and I think that the vast majority of Americans would agree, that these guys, the Black Panthers, they don't have a leg to stand on in terms of why they exist, their ideology, the idea that we're still an institutionally racist nation. I don't think they should be lent any more credence than white hate groups. The white hate groups have been marginalized to the point where they really possess no political power. People know where they are. They know who they are. The government, I know, keeps a certain amount of tabs on them, and I think the Panthers should be treated the same way.
Are you getting a lot of flack over this book?
Yeah, I'm getting a certain amount of flack over the book, but the response is far more overwhelmingly positive from people who, almost universally they're saying, thank you so much for saying what needed to be said. And I'm getting this from whites, blacks, pastors, younger people, definitely a lot of older people, that meaning like 40 and over, because they've seen the way things that developed. And, most of us are not stupid. We saw that it was an incongruent way to go, that we moved toward equality and a level playing field, and that these race baiters and people who have a political and economic imperative in keeping this hate alive have been running the civil rights agenda, and that it's not right.
And there's a new report, I had the name written down, maybe I'll find it during the break here, but new video out about where the Black Panthers are also intimidating Hillary Clinton voters. Have you seen that, where they were saying, if you're not voting for Obama, you can't vote here?
Yeah, I was reading up on that this morning. Obviously, I've been doing a lot of keeping on top of this stuff, and they were doing the very same thing. And Hillary, as well as John McCain, were also intimidated during that campaign season. Things that were political baggage and should have been mentioned and would have been mentioned if the opposition had been a white candidate were not mentioned, because they didn't want to have that icky goo of the racist epithet thrown on them, and they just shut up about them. The Reverend Wright issue was a case in point.
In fact, I want to get into that in depth in a moment, because he's squawking again. By the way, the video documentary put out is by Gigi Caston. I'd love to get her on the show, because, boy, that's dynamite. Now, let me ask you this. Oakland, all right, more than 80 arrests were made. The white policeman shot the unarmed black. He was found guilty. So they go out and start looting and burning. And when I saw this, I'm going like, did they read the memo wrong or the headline wrong? Or is this sort of like sports, Detroit wins, so they're going to burn Detroit down. Congratulations, you know what I'm saying? What is it?
Well, part of it is kind of like sports. I mean, the race baiters, the local on the local and national level, it is their motivation. It's their job, really, to get people fired up when something like this happens. and this fellow was convicted, but he wasn't convicted of first-degree murder, because the burden of proof for first-degree murder is a lot, tougher, and they didn't feel they could prove that. Now, of course, in these instances, reason and logic do not matter. He should have been drugged through the streets, with a rope around his ankle and the other end on a bus or something.
But thank goodness, Eric Holder is coming through, and he's going to try to make it a hate crime and make sure that we attach some more onto that penalty. We're going to take a break. We're going to be right back. I want to get into Jeremiah Wright. I also have a phone call waiting for you, so it's going to be one or the other, I think. Eric Rush, author of Negrophilia, will tell you how you can get a copy of the book when we come back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto